And Evolve is something that I'm very proud of as well.
Yeah, I can see that Joe, he says he doesn't really have anything else, but if someone else has any more questions, or if you, Rodolfo, wish to show some of your other stuff, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I can show my GitHub. Let's see. So what's here? Well, this one was featured in one of your webinars. It's class LV roles. It's a pack of tools for list view controls that are not available for natively for AutoHotkey, so you can do a lot of stuff. Drag and drop is the most cool feature, but you can also have actually a history of your states, and you can use undo and redo. It's very useful for people with list views.
Okay, does it have built-in hotkeys or anything? No, it's a true class or whatever.
It's a class. Yeah, you can incorporate with your scripts. And there's always some examples in my repositories here that you can borrow ideas from. Evolve, we talked about it. It evaluates expressions side strings. It's very useful when you have user input that you want to convert to code. TV drag and drop, it's the latest thing I did for it's another spin-off from PNC. Talked about this class toolbar and another one it's causing here, class rebar. Those was, man, I almost went crazy writing those things. It's because I have to be at Microsoft's website, understand things and all this pointers and bytes and things that are mostly just me's area. But well, I wanted to bar, and when AutoHotkey came with the custom controls, I was waiting for someone to write something. Nobody came with it, so I adventured myself in writing it. And some people use it a lot. It's a nice thing to have. It's more like old, outdated look, but it's still cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I see Joe, he posted something more in the chat here about the LV rows. We had Sean present some of it, and we were talking about the history part of it. Is that something that you can maybe show us a bit about?
Sure.
How the history in the LV rows actually works?
Let's see the project here. So it has.
If you share your screen, we can probably follow along better.
It's not sharing? Oh.
No.
I thought it was.
It was at one point, but then it stopped.
Let's see again. I think I closed it accidentally. Oh, so the help file, the README file, has a summary of what it can do, and you can see here some demo example code here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, can get this. So it's a simple script to demonstrate what it can do. You have here the available functions. You can copy, cut, paste, delete, and it even can be working across different list views, because you don't necessarily need to give it a pointer. You can just call the method directly from the class without instantiating. Okay. But to use it as history using undo and redo, then you need to instantiate it with its handle. So I have here Let me see if it's working. Delete and undo. So, and it keeps an object with the history of what you've done. So it's just it's very automatically. You don't have to do much coding to get it working.
Okay.
See, for example, here you start you instantiate the list view class with one or more instances of your of list views handles. And then you can switch between them using this command set handle. So then you can change from one to another. So you can set that in the G label to set automatically for the control that's active, and or use it directly without the hands. If you just have one list view, you can just use the commands directly, unless you're using the history features. And they're very easy as well. You do the add method and you create another history entry. You call undo or redo. That's basically.
I'm sorry, Rodolfo. I was just going to ask that this method that you just mentioned, right? It keeps the control Z one at least. It only keeps track of one change, right? So it is just like you have the one instance of one list view that has the whole thing, the second instance that has the deleted things, and you just switch between those two. But if you want to have a history of more, more actions to be undone, then you would have to actually keep track of all the actions, right? So that
No, it's automatically. It's automatic. You just have
oh,
to.
of course, it has its own built-in history thing, but you wouldn't use the two objects or
Oh, right, cool. Yeah.
right. So you wouldn't use the method of the two objects. In this case, you use the add and these options to kind of like keep a history of those. But the control Z is different because it's just two objects that you switch between them, right? Is that
Right. So, for example, you have here two list views, so they can
right?
have their individual history. You see,
Right.
but how can you do that? You have two options. You can add both handles to the same handle, and you switch between them using the set handle command.
Right. Yeah.
You click here, it triggers the
It
G
actually,
label.
yeah, it
And
changes the object, right? Yeah.
yes, and I change up. Another option is to have two objects. That's not a problem as well. You can have one object for this list view and another object for this one. That works fine as well.
Okay, I got it.
The drag function, that's you have to call it from the G label, and you have some options. You can let me see here. Drag. Here. So you have this option. You can tell it what's the button you're sending. You can use AD event for that. And what's the common use for that is that if you're dragging with right click, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to copy or move. You have it return the method drag will return the target row, and you select what you want to do with it, like showing a menu to copy or move. It's shown here in the example. And then you can turn off auto scroll, change scroll delay. That's something it's going to do automatically, see? And the thickness of the line, color, and this is something I added recently. It was asked by John. He asked for a way to set a modification key like shift or control. So I had these options where you can set it off. So if you set it to false, it won't actually drop the row, even if you're dragging with the left button. Oh, it has also this group feature. That's another thing that I can thank just me for that. Let me see if I can enable groups here. insert group. And you can, in the script stuff, you have options to set a name, start a name for it. It's just a useful thing for some people.
These groups and stuff, is that something that's actually built into list views? That's just not added to AutoHotkey, or?
Yes, it's something that it's Microsoft made it, but it's just not in AutoHotkey by natively. So just me created some group of functions called, I think it's LV, something like that, where it has these functions that are borrowed from my project.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, the other script that I have here is just CB autocomplete. That's a combo box where you type things and it autocompletes. It's that I use here. I think that's all my contributions.
Those are also a lot, so I think you're good.
Thanks.
Is
there any other questions?
Is my audio coming through okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that combo box, I almost used that as the script to highlight because I saw that on the forum today. I'm like, oh, look at that. Here's something else from you. But yeah, maybe we'll do that next time because it did look pretty interesting. It's a great functionality to have in anything you're doing, right? To have that auto assist typing stuff. Very cool.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, how is that actually? Oh, if we're reviewing that next time. No, but how is that?
We got him here. Let's have him. Yeah, let's have him show it.
Yeah, because I saw it was using great way of sampling its idea. So yeah, you're welcome to show off a bit about that.
Thanks for having me.
Is that something, Rodolfo, that you can show? Like just a working example of the combo box? Is that easy?
Combo box, sure. Let me project here.
And thank you so much for, I mean, it's one of those things, in some ways, sometimes it feels, even though people do write you occasionally say thank you, it sometimes can feel like a thankless job. But you know, thousands of people, use your tool and do appreciate it. It's great to hear that. So I hope you understand, that for every one person that actually reaches out to you and says that, there's thousands.
Sorry to cut you.
Now, by the way, what editor are you actually using? Visual Studio?
That's the VS Code, yeah.
VS Code, yep.
Oh, okay. I thought Visual Studio and VS Code weren't necessarily the same tools.
No, I think it's VS Code, right?
Yeah, it is VS Code, but
but Visual Studio is something else, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if I modify this for some reason.
Oh, but I wouldn't understand if he doesn't code that much on Windows. He probably doesn't use VS Studio because VS Studio, I'm not sure if you can use it in Linux.
No, I use IntelliJ.
Okay, yeah, that's different.
Yep. I wish I could use IntelliJ for AutoHotkey. IntelliJ is awesome, really. So the function is basically this. It could be written more compact, I know, but I wanted to make it readable. So I like this style there. So it's very simple. I just use a try to send message to find what's being typed and look up in the list and complete it. And then I set the selection for the remaining of the text here. So this is things that you can find some this commands. I have also a library by just me again, that he has all this codes for some. So you usually you go to write something like that, you go to Microsoft's website, you learn what you have to do, and you find the code that corresponds to the command you need, and use send message or post message.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the example that I have. It uses some Windows folder, files Windows folder, and that's simple as that. So it's going to complete. It has file. So it looks a lot like other apps, Autocomplete. It will work if just one thing that I've noticed in the trial form, that I don't have a very good method to find when stuff is being deleted. I just check the state of delete or backspace key.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for example, if I type something here, and I go here and try to delete it, I can't detect that. But that's just the only drawback. Other than that, it.
And is that a fuzzy match, or that's a perfect string match? It's got to be exact.
It's got to be exact. Yeah, it doesn't have anything like wild card or nothing like that. But it could be improved. It's there for anyone who wants to choose. There are some other versions in the thread itself. People have some different preferences of behavior.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
It. But all those things came from PMC. It's by trying to improve. I
Cool.
came up with those things. I like this project. I didn't have to make it this big, but I wanted it to look great. It's something that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, I was going to say when we were talking, that's I don't mind some people who say bad things that doesn't like it, because the amount of people enjoying it and giving me good feedback, it's far greater. And I understand even people who think that, oh, I don't use it because of that, but they have their reasons. That's just preference. And like I said, it's not a tool meant for AutoHotkey user. It's not meant to learn AutoHotkey, but you can use for that. But it's a tool of its own. It does what it says it does. It's an automation tool for Windows. That's it.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did anyone else have any questions about this or about, I guess here, if you don't have questions specifically for Rodolfo on his stuff, I mean, do you have other things that you had questions on with AutoHotkey that you were trying to work through? Do you have something you want to share? Everyone, I'm seeing a lot of comments in saying, yeah, they're very impressed with your tool. And for me, and this is where Jack and I have been talking about for years, but now and Isaiah and I talk a lot about it. I guess there he is. I know he's going to agree with me. Your code is very easy to read, structured, clean, and it makes such a difference. It makes it so much easier to follow. Even if you're not that advanced, you could easily condense it all and make it so hard to read that, oh yeah, it's fewer lines, but who cares, right? Like it's really great to hear from someone who is a programmer that like your ideal shouldn't be the most densely populated code, right? It's being able to go back in and be able to read it later and let other people read it. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, and that's something I bring with me since I started writing hotkey to write clean code. It's important for other people's, if someone else is going to update your code, it's gotta be readable. It's gotta be something that's clean and easy to read. You see, it's impressive when you see some functions, one line function by scan that does this, it's miracle stuff. Wow, it's impressive, yes, but it's hard to look at that and make sense of it.
Well, now this is the thing. You let your code be open source, right? So it just the fact that it is written in a way that we could understand gives you more chance to for some other people to say, well, let me help you. When it is something that only you understand, like even if I want to help, well, it's going to be very difficult for me to say, okay, let me take the time to go ahead and understand this guy's mind. And then let me add the thing that I wanted to add, like it's going to be more difficult for you to get help,
Exactly. There are some people who found bugs or wanted to do improvements. They just searched it and found where it was. And that, well, that's great because, well, it's something that other people can do because I'm not going to work on this project forever. So I hope it has a long life. If it's got to be improved or fixed for something, at some time, it's not going to be me. So I hope someone else takes it at some point.
Yeah, that actually prolongs the lifetime of your product, by the way.
Yeah. But I'm going to maintain it for some time. Yes, I'm not going to ban it so soon.
And when I had our little interview back, what was that, a month ago? I think you and I chatted. It was very inspiring to me when I was asking you about how did you create this and stuff, and you said, and I also said, have you thought about charging for it, in any sort of way or whatever. And it was really cool to hear you say, well, when I was looking for a tool, like everything that was out there was paid, and I wanted to create a tool that was for free. And like I said, I think that's awesome, right? Like it at the same time, I think if people help donate, it gives you encouragement, right, to kind of keep doing stuff, right? Because people don't even understand. Not only are you volunteering your time on stuff, you have expenses, right? Like having servers and buying the domain and just doing stuff. Like there's cost. And we were working on this with some of our stuff of should we do code signing, and we finally said, you know what, we're just not even going to do it. We're going to hash and code, get the hash value for it and just not bother code signing because it's just such a headache and a cost. But yeah, it's really cool that you.
And to make it clear, I'm not against charging, even if it's your right open source, even if you're writing AutoHotkey, you should charge for work. It's your right.
Yeah.
I just, this is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to give the world something that was a professional automation to interface with an interface that was free for everyone, because I couldn't afford JIT-bit automation anywhere, and I still can't. So I'm happy that it's not the, well, there are things that people might miss, that people that still want it, and things that I even say, well, I'm not going to add that feature because I don't have the time for that. You get that and get the program as it is, but it's still a great tool. And but by any means, no, it's not because you see, oh, but you shouldn't charge for AutoHotkey because AutoHotkey is free. No, JavaScript is free. Java is free. Well, what's the point?
Great point. Right. The other thing I'd say is, and I know Jackie and I are on part of this, is like we both love. I mean, we talk a lot about AutoHotkey. It's changed our lives, and we know, like your tool brings so many AutoHotkey to people. It gets them started, right? It's that one of the first steps they'll take to start learning it, because they may not want to start programming, but they'll find your tool, they'll use it. Hey, I did some stuff, and then it might make them realize, hey, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I can start looking at the code, and it leads to a better life, right? It's really cool. Awesome. Unless anyone else. Oh, go ahead, Jackie.
No, I was just going to follow up and then say, yeah, absolutely. Doesn't really matter if people don't come for the AutoHotkey. If they stay long enough with a tool like yours, they'll probably end up either looking at the code window or have some kind of issue that they'll go to you or some AutoHotkey source somewhere to try and figure out, and that'll pull them in anyway. So yeah, I think it's a great thing.
Well, and I think it's really awesome that Tank and Tank, he really also has a passion for AutoHotkey and helping people, learn how to automate their lives, right? So the fact that he created you a subforum is awesome, because if it wasn't there, like the fact it's on the AutoHotkey forum, some people will venture out, right? Like I'm sure if we really cared to, we could get metrics and see people start on your subforum, using it there, but they end up, over time venturing out and actually learning AutoHotkey code, which is, again, it's just awesome.
Yeah, happy with that too, of course.
Cool. Well, we're coming up at the end of the time. Did anyone else have any? Again, did you have any? I saw someone asked about an AutoHotkey Studio plugin for Git. I don't use it, so I don't know how to configure it. We can ask Maestricht to help at some point with that. But was there any other questions? Anybody have anything they wanted to share or to solve real quickly in 17 minutes?
Quickly in 17
okay. Well, if we're not, we're good.
Very good. No,
yeah.
Well,
Isaiah says,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Isaiah says laugh. Well, I was laughing because all the last two to 3 days we've been dealing with these power outages. We'll jump on Zoom and we're like, okay, and we'll start working, and then my power goes out, and it's like it's gone. So it's like we've learned a new way to be productive of like do it as fast as you can, like just it's gonna die.
Yeah. And not only that, the other thing is that there's this type of problems that they look very simple. Like they're so simple. And you say like, yeah, I can fix that in 10 minutes, right? And then you start doing the 10-minute thing, right? And it becomes 1 hour, 2 hours. And then you say like, oh man, I'm gonna leave this off. I'm not gonna do that. Like, come on.
Cool. And Isaiah, I think I can't remember if you were on when I mentioned it, but probably the next webinar where we'll have you lead us in VS Code in showing how to use it incorporated with Git, and how amazing that functionality, especially when you're working with more, I know it's great when you do it by yourself, but when you're working with more than one person, I gotta say it's a must. Like it's all you really can't work with more than one you can't work with additional people easily and be coding, working in the same code and keep track of stuff. It's just such a pain. Right. So Git makes it super, super easy.
Very good. Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much.
And yeah, we're going to take a look at VS Code and how to connect to GitHub really quickly, and that's it.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Joe, have a great day. Stay warm. Sorry about my internet.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Bye, everyone. See you.
Bye then. We talk later.
Yeah, and thank you, Rodolfo, once again.
Oh, thank you so much. I like not just for being here, but for your tool. It's awesome.
Yourselves, because what you are doing with tutorials and teaching people how to do stuff like that, that's so important to your lifesavers as well. So thank you for all your work.
We talk later, man.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.